Okay, I guess I'm live now. These things always confuse me every time. Sometimes I go live on my Facebook group, and it's different than going live on your um, group. No, page, Facebook page. It's different. There's more clicks when you go on your Facebook page and you go on your Facebook group. But anyways, today I just wanted to hop on here and talk about my 3-month experience with Orange Theory. And so I'm sure a lot of you have seen the signs. They're everywhere in Calgary. They're everywhere, actually. And they are busy. They are busy, busy gyms. And so I joined because Orange Theory is in my building. And I needed something new to do for a workout. So I've done CrossFit for a long time. My body is kind of aches and pains because of that. I really like running and I like weightlifting. And so for me, I thought, I'll give it a whirl. So I signed up for 1 month and then continued on to 2 and continued on to 3 months. So you can kind of see that how I liked it. I will talk about my experience and why I liked it, and I also talk about why I have stopped. And so first of all, what is it? So when you drive past the Orange Theory gyms, you'll see on one side there's treadmills, on the other side there's rowers, and in the back there's a lifting area. And so every class is 60 minutes. Usually the class is split into 2, so a rower and treadmill group, and then you warm up for 5 minutes on that implement, and then you are led. So if you're on the treadmill, you do kind of like a running workout. And depending on the day, so there's strength days, power days, and endurance days. Depending on the day, we'll define what that kind of looks like. So on endurance days, it'll be like longer intervals. On strength days, it's hills, and on power, I believe it's more sprints. And then if you're on the rower day, then the rowers go between the rowers and the strength area back and forth, and depending on the day, we'll define what that looks like. Power days are more powerful movements with the dumbbells. Strength days are more structured weightlifting, maybe not so much rowing, and then the rowing days are days of rowing, waves, kind of always moving, sweaty. Even though every time I went, I ended up super sweaty. So I really like that. There's something about leaving a workout just being drenched. It's a very satisfying feeling. All right. And so that's kind of what the workout is. And they talk about EPOC, which is excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, which is when your body burns energy after you've worked out. And so that kind of is dependent on, like any workout, you can achieve that depending on what you do and your body type and how trained you are. And so there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts when it comes to certain claims. And so that would be one of them. All right, so my likes of Orange Theory. Treadmills. Running on the treadmill there was super fun. So if you have knee problems or any sort of joint problems, running on the treadmill, it's like bouncy. It's like running on a gymnastics floor. And so if you have problems in the past of running outside or running on treadmills, these ones are different. They're bouncy. And I feel like they make you run faster because they kind of project you forward. But anyways, I really enjoyed running on the treadmills. I also really enjoyed running. I did track and field, so running is fun for me, especially with like the different intervals and the hill inclines. So for me, I really enjoyed that. I like the variety in the workouts. And so you always do something different depending on like if you start on the rowers or you start on the treadmills, all the weightlifting movements are different. I felt that I always kind of got a full body workout. I bought the full membership, so I would go 5 to 6 times a week. And so I hit every workout kind of thing. So I just felt like for me, it was like always full body. I really like the community. And so the coaches, I went to the Orange Theory in Kensington and Calgary. The coaches are amazing. And I made new friends, which is fun. They always, like, I have a really established network in the CrossFit community, but I haven't made a new friend like in a little while. So I made new friends. It was nice. New friends are fun when you're an adult. New adult friends. And there's something to be said when you know your friends are going to go work out and you're like, oh, I want to go join them. So that was fun. The music was always good. Every instructor had their own like personal favorites, and they all seem to be my personal favorites, so that was great. After 3 months, I felt really fit, which you would think if you're working out and running and doing all that, but it was like a different type of fit. Like I wasn't super sore, I just felt fit. And so, I don't know, it was a great feeling. And it is a great feeling, obviously. But there's difference between feeling fit and like doing a bunch of stuff and not being sore, and then being fit where you're like sore or you're kind of dreading your workouts, or I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about that. But I never dreaded a workout. I always enjoyed and looked forward to going there. What else? Yeah, the consistency of the workouts are great. And also some days were hard, but it was never too hard. There was never a workout where I was left being like, oh, I can't do this. And I didn't see that with anybody in the room. And I think that's really important, because when it comes to working out, consistency is the most important thing, I believe. And so if you're walking every day, that's great, if that's like where you fit in right now. Or if you're walking and maybe doing 2 strength training sessions, or you're running and like it can build from there. But whatever it is, consistency is the most important. And for me, going those 5 days a week was my consistency, and it was great. I felt fantastic. For others, it might be 3 days, and that's fine. But it's better to do something consistently at a medium level, or a medium to high level, or I should say at a level that always has you wanting to go back for more. Because sometimes I'm sure we've all had workouts where it was extremely hard, and then you're just like, I just don't want to do this anymore. So I didn't experience it there. And that was just me. This is all my own personal views on this, obviously. But I just found that was a great thing about it. I always enjoyed going. Okay, so my dislikes, or maybe things just to take into consideration. And I'll continue off my last point. Sometimes I walked. And so sometimes I just felt my body was tired and I walked on there. So it is scalable. I guess it isn't really dislike. I guess we're not full on dislike yet. But anyways, sometimes I walked, and that's fine. And a lot of people walk. You don't actually have to run. You can incline the treadmill and just walk. Sometimes the movements on the weight floor I didn't really like. I thought that they maybe were they hurt my knees, I guess, actually was my biggest thing. So when you're on the weight floor and you're doing lunges and whatnot and they hurt your knees or something hurts you, it's just hard to adjust it. The other thing on the weight floor is that you couldn't go extremely heavy. You didn't have a lot of time. You're limited to dumbbells. And I do believe that if you're at a certain level of fitness, you should be lifting heavy weights. And so to build strength, and that is in like the 5 rep area, and you just wouldn't get there at Orange Theory, which is fine. But if you really want to build strength, 5 rep is where you want to be around. And with the dumbbells there, it's almost impossible to get into that rep zone. The heart rate monitors. So my heart rate monitor was a little bit wonky. So I guess the bigger part of Orange Theory is you wear a heart rate monitor and everything goes up on a big screen. And so you can see where your heart rate is and then how often your heart rate is in different sections. And then you get splat points for being in the orange and red, which is the highest. And so for me, I found it extremely difficult to get into the orange and red zones. And like I was working out hard, but it was just hard for me to get splat points. Where other people have like 40. I'm like, what is going on here? And so what I learned is that you just have to compare the splat points based on your own attendance. So just compare against yourself. Don't compare against other people in there. And if you only get 6 some days, it's fine. Or if you're getting 40, that's fine too. It's based off of an equation. And so you can only, like, of course, we're all built differently. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different fitness levels. And so I believe it's based around like 220 minus your age, and that's your max heart rate, and then some equation down from there. So we're different. So I would recommend if you're wearing your heart rate, and if it works, because mine didn't for a little while, and that's okay, they gave me a new one, just to compare against yourself. And so yeah, that is my view or my review on Orange Theory. I've stopped because I want to do a bit more strength training and because I'm traveling and it doesn't make sense for me to have a membership there month to month. And so I'm going to go look into some drop-in passes and yeah, incorporate more strength training and getting outside, because I think strength training is important, and so is being outside, especially in the summertime in Calgary. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day.